like and subscribe to the channel, and maybe I won't tell your parents exactly what you smoked on the weekend with friends. NSFW, people of Reddit who have had sex with an in-law or step-sibling or parent. What happened? How did you get into that situation? And did anyone find out? One Christmas my uncle brought my future aunt-in-law over to meet everyone. I was 12 and she had big boobs, like stupidly big boobs. I got binoculars as a gift as part of a kid's packet. I thought I was being so clever pretending to look around the room with them, just so I could stealthily, she was sitting 10 feet away, get a full zoomed in image of those lovely jubblies. I did this for like 30 minutes. In high school one of my close friends lost her virginity to her mid-30s stepbrother and began a relationship with him. They didn't grow up together. I always felt like he was a bit sleazy and that he groomed her. We were about 16. The thing is, they're still together, 15 years later, with a kid and everything. It really tore their family apart for a while though. My brother and stepsister had sex. They are both married and have children and there is nothing weird between them. The weird thing is that my dad and stepmom encouraged it. They wanted them to be together and get married. My stepmom will occasionally bring it up when she has been drinking, like she still kind of wishes it had happened. My dad had started dating following a messy divorce and, after being very coy about his activities for a few months, decided to introduce me to his girlfriend's family. We all traveled to a relative's country house and had a big party. The wine flowed pretty liberally. Eventually it was just me and the new girlfriend's daughter who remained. We'd been getting on pretty well all night and we were both quite drunk at this point. I stood, deciding I'd had enough fun for one night, and kissed her goodnight. One thing led to another and we slept together. This kept up for a few months. I'm not sure if dad ever grasped why I was always so excited to visit his girlfriend's place, but I was there in a flash if the invitation was offered. Fast forward 6 or 7 years, and dad married his partner. I was a groomsman. Now I like throwback quote, I have never banged my sister in games of never have I ever. Don't regret it at all. We were in our teens and we're actually good friends now. Edit, holy shit. I know this all sounds a lot like the plot of a certain type of video found online, but I suppose miracles can still happen. I did the deed with my mother-in-law once. It still makes me feel dirty when I think about it. I was separated from my wife at the time, in the process of divorcing, and went to my mother-in-law's house to help her with moving some furniture. We ended up sitting around after I helped and had a few cocktails and talked about my separation to her daughter. Fast forward to midnight and 6 drinks later and all of a sudden I'm looking at her with her jeans to her ankles and bent over the kitchen table. I swear to this day I really don't know who made the first move or how it got to that point. It was crazy. The next day she calls me and plays the whole back quote, I had so much to drink I don't even remember last night card. I get it. I know it was her way of pretending like it never happened, and I was perfectly okay with doing just that. I saw her numerous times after that, and neither of us acted strange. We just erased it and acted like nothing ever happened. At the time I was about 30 and my mother-in-law was about 50. I've never told anyone until now. Edit, added until now. Briefly, during high school, my girlfriend's parents were on the rocks. The mom was sleeping with another guy, and the family was in rough shape. So the dad's response was to go after my single mom. Next thing ya know, my girlfriend's dad is having an affair with my mom, while the girlfriend's mom is having an affair with an old flame. They are going on double dates together, and the girlfriend and I are suddenly unofficial step-siblings. And yes, it was awkward, even though it really had nothing to do with us. Thankfully, it didn't last long, maybe a month. Her mom and dad reconciled, and things went back to normal. There was one night they all came over to my mom's apartment with wine. We all drank. The mom and her fling went to a hotel. My mom and the dad went to bed, and then the girlfriend and I went to bed. That was weird. Does that count? Lol edit. RIP my inbox. Holy crap, this blew up, lol. Trying to keep up with all the responses. Glad my most upvoted comment is just a hair short of a Roll Tide. My great aunt married the boy next door at age 18 in 1945 or so. Turns out he was gay, and he wanted her to be his beard. Very unhappy. Her husband was estranged from his father, who had already divorced his mom. So the father-in-law joined the Navy at the outbreak of the war and spent the war building airstrips all over the Pacific and Southeast Asia. He gets back from the war, meets his son's wife. He and my great/aunt have instant chemistry. They apparently start banging almost immediately. He's been off at war and she's in a sexless marriage. So lots of pent-up sexual energy. Of course they get caught after a while. Mid-act the son and ex-wife show up. Actually provided a great out for the gay son, as he could divorce her, be the wrong party, and now be single with no questions about his sexuality. My great aunt suffered some social ostracism for this, as it was juicy gossip for the city they lived in. However, when the divorce came, she married her former father-in-law. They remained married until his death in the mid-90s, both his age and the year, after nearly 50 years together and 3 kids, plus grandkids. They were quite happy, but this story has always been one my mom kept from me until I was 30. Edit and TLDR, my great aunt cheated on her closeted gay first husband with his father. She ended up marrying her former father-in-law. This will probably get buried, but I'm gonna type it out anyways. Had sex with my step-cousin. Unknowingly. My parents divorced when I was in grade school. Got on well enough with the stepmom when dad remarried my freshman year in high school. The wedding was low-key and I don't remember much about it. 4 years later I'm at college about 3 hours from my hometown. Big state uni. Stepmom offhandedly has mentioned that her niece goes to this school, but I never got in touch or connected with this person. It was the early/mid-90s. A few months into school, I randomly meet a girl at a party. We clicked on a sexual level. We didn't really date or go out, but we fucked like monkeys for the rest of the year. Just pure carnality. She lived in a different town about 2 hours from my hometown. Whatever. We exchanged housing info for the next year and went off to have our summer. In late July, stepmom is having a family reunion. She was so excited that I could finally meet her niece and maybe we would be friends and could study or hang out at uni. Cool. Whatever. Mom shit. So we go to the reunion. Yup. The girl from college was stepmom's niece that I had spent the previous school year banging. Playing like we didn't know each other, it was an awkward family event. Kinda killed the magic of our lust. We booty called a few times that next school year, but it just fizzled. So, I had sex with my step-cousin. Only her and I, as far as I can tell. No 11/10ths were due again. Edit *FIXED spelling mistakes. Sorry on mobile asterisk. Throw away for obvious reasons. My biological mother died when I was about 5 years old. Dad remarried about 2 years later to a woman who had a daughter who was the same age. We get along pretty well for the most part and years go by and nothing happened. Sometime when we were both 13, my stepmom got in a car accident and died almost instantly. We all took it really hard, especially my dad. Dad started to drink and not be very fatherly to either of us. He was depressed and rarely ever talked to us, and in turn, left my stepsister and I feeling despondent and unloved. One night I woke up to the sound of my stepsister crying. I went to her room to comfort her and calm her down. We both end up crying together and we just held each other for a long time. I kissed her and went to go and leave, but for some reason, don't really know why, we just kept kissing for a while. Eventually we just ended up having sex. I don't really know why we did it. We had never had any attraction to each other beforehand, and we certainly never planned on having sex. I think both of us just liked the idea of being close to someone. We hadn't felt the touch of someone we loved for so long that I think it was just a way of coping. In total we had sex probably 14 or 15 times over the course of about 2 years. After that we just stopped, don't really know why. We just got over the feeling of being unloved, I guess. No one knows as far as I'm aware. It never negatively affected our relationship, and it isn't awkward between us. It was just something that happened. Edit. Wording. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel and like. Share your stories in the comments.